Ji chimbo tso denyi ma xin, zoni malam chimbo nga jatap. Pekar ta ngan tsen tu shirma do, tumba kadran chen la surwan dip. Jagar penchen pu la kadran che, pima lintong kolan di chong me, tatal honam sambu kanan. Orgyen Rinpoche la surwan di, shohom chuji injo porong ni, tusun sonji kanjo ngo. Rongsen chu ke ngon si tuen je pa tsab la ma nam la surwan di, dasun do lo na chu la yir. Good morning. Yesterday in the text already mentioned, when we practice any liberation path, there is one is impossible things. It's like necessary things, that is compassion, kindness. And that you know very well. We need to generate kind of, how to say, generate or a little bit to concern or to create thoughts. And that is, to say, like, may sentient beings to be happy, may sentient beings to be free from sufferings. For that reason, for that benefit, then I want become enlightenment. I want to purify my defects. I want to become perfect guide for benefit for them. And we say it's like families of the sentient beings. In the text, like describe and all the sentient beings, any perspective or any kind of different way we have connection. Sometimes maybe they are become our parents, sometimes they become sometimes our children, brother, sisters, and there's almost not existent single sentient beings without connect to us. And when it's connected to us, really it's like, we say it's like, maybe we can compare our this life closer to your family, friend, or like parents, or maybe your children, maybe your brothers, sisters, whoever love you, they take care of you, you want to take care of them. And we have a great attachment and really, but it's since we wandered into the cyclic existence, that means it's like a kind of the cycle, like all the times cycle in the samsara, like turning around, we are traveling round and round, like kind of the taking the very special system and birth and death. This systematic, the birth and deaths, and like kind of the bring to ours endless in this, in the samsara, the six realms. And when we are each time born, there is family, there are parents, different. And therefore, we need to concerning sentient beings is very important. And also when this attitude, it is very, very important, even for benefit for ourselves. In the Shantadeva's, the Buddhaya Avatar book, it says, you look, sentient beings all the time concerning themselves, how much they benefit. Buddhas concerning the sentient beings, how much the benefit. It's completely the and the result is different. And therefore, we need to generate compassion, kindness. And also yesterday in the book it says, when we are generate bodhichitta, also this thoughts is like kind of the best, very important, in order to purify it, any kind of obscurations. Of course, we are specifically now how we purified the obscuration through the meditation of the teacher as the Vajrasattva. And this is like a typical, like a specific, but also that one is all the times, or that should enhance by embraced by the bodhichitta. Yesterday there is a short mention of bodhichitta of the intention, bodhichitta of the applications. This is like, this true bodhichitta is very important. You can choose relative bodhichitta and absolute bodhichitta. And that one is also why you need to say, firstly is intention bodhichitta or aspiration bodhichitta is more important for the beginner. Why? Because we immediately to act same as the bodhisattvas is quite difficult. We are very much beginner to apply the immediately like to practice bodhicitta of the application, and to do the like such generosity, discipline, and pay like patient, diligently, like day and night meditative concentration, developing the like wisdom, this sixth transcendent. But first time is like training out in the mind, like may all the sentient beings be free from suffering. May all the sentient beings to reach the permanent happiness. That is not difficult, it's just in the mind. We don't need to pay, we don't need to collect, we don't need to search in some place. Wherever we are sit, wherever we go, wherever mind be, there. And according to these feelings, and also we can to bring all our circumstances, bring into the path. This kind of, for example, if you have negative circumstances, say this negative circumstance is the may representative of the sentient beings' negative circumstances. I will take these negative circumstances, then after there's nothing left, any negative circumstances for the sentient beings. I want to eliminate all the sentient beings' negative circumstances. Okay, I'm happy if I'm sick, if I'm die, if I'm a problem. We can to say, some great yogi says, come more to me, welcome. And that is like all the sentient beings' negative circumstances, like unpleasant situation, these things arising, maturated onto me. That is the great, we say it's like self-arousing ourselves. I'm a great, I can to accept, I'm a like kind of brave heart, and I am follower of the Bodhisattva, Buddha, and I want to understand, and if I can do myself, eliminate all the sentient beings' problems, it is wonderful. Like this, of course, if you have some positive circumstances, maybe you become very rich, you become very learned, maybe you become very healthy, beautiful, famous. Then also you need to say, may all sentient beings to become the more happy than the myself. This is like kind of nothing. I'm happy. This happiness should representative of all the sentient beings. May sentient beings to be quickly more happier than me. This sort of, if you have bodhichitta, aspiration inside, you are not yet enlightened, but your way of the thinking and purifications and where is the kind of your path, exactly the Buddha. And when you have these aspirations permeated to all everywhere, it is very important. Like this. You closed?
It stopped.
No, mine closed. What? Internet? Or?
Yeah, internet.
Huh?
You need to turn on also the microphone. Okay, one second. If you click on mute.
Okay. Can you hear me? No, nobody's here.
They hear you.
Can you hear me? No eyes. You can close this? No.
You cannot hear them, Yocha, but they can hear.
Okay, where's my text? This is where it's closed. Huh?
First we need to open the text.
Right, today. Ah. Can you hear me? No, everybody paralyzed.
They hear, but in the internet
Huh?
problem. They hear.
Can you hear? Really? No, they are paralyzed here
Oh, but I'm
and stopped. Nene, you doing something? Let's come back.
people on YouTube, they say they can hear me very well.
No, he is paralyzed. Not okay. What this? Telegram? Maybe this one some you changed. That here this.
Yeah, click.
It doesn't work. Look.
On my computer also doesn't work.
But now you changed. Yes.
Wow. I'll make you host name. My computer also problems.
Maybe better to one computer. That you connected to these two computers. Yes. But this is problems, you know. And maybe you don't. You want to control. You need to come to here. Don't connect to there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Hola, Sultan. Between there's interrupt. I hope you are here. I don't know. Looks like paralyzed. Stopped. Doesn't work. It's internet or is something wrong?
Internet problems. Cannot load. Also the camera is internet on.
Really? Look. Kunzo, can you bring the telephone? Lika ligamento danal.
Vindachanga, please switch on microphone.
No, it doesn't work.
They cannot hear you.
We cannot hear because microphones.
Automatically. It doesn't work. Now maybe this internet.
Yes, last very good, very good.
I'm going to change internet. Okay. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, now I hope. What? Now maybe internet works. I don't know. Okay. And today our sentences is the Buddha taught that confessing your evil deeds and downfalls without arousing bodhichitta, even though you might apply the four powers will reduce your thoughts, but not purified them altogether. And I think it's without bodhicitta, and even we apply the Vajrasattva practice, maybe doesn't work, and therefore it's very important to generate bodhicitta. And here is like of course, in order to purify our four kind of the different type of the obscuration, and that is like a best solution or best methods is Vajrasattva practice. And but even this kind of profound, powerful, easy, simple, but without bodhicitta, there's losing functionality. It doesn't work much. Of course, there are some benefit, but not very much. And therefore, it is very important to have bodhicitta, arousing bodhicitta. And before we are interrupted, we're talking about the aspiration bodhicitta, application bodhicitta. Like here is most time they're talking about intention bodhicitta and application bodhicitta. It doesn't matter. And also the how do you say this? Here is the yoga of Vajrasattva, and this is also like a very profound Guru Yoga, like a single deity, and that is the universal or all the embodiment of the different deities. And therefore, it is very important. Now maybe we say it's like, okay, if I purified for all my obscurations, and then what I will become, which kind of person, and then it's like the answer is you become the enlightenment. What does it that means, the enlightenment? Everybody using enlightenment. And it's very important, it's in the Buddhist point of view, the meaning of the enlightenment. Meaning of the enlightenment. That is you kind of realize that your own, really it is the face or nature or your own specificity or your own like kind of the state of the mind. And then it's like you can control yourself, and you are not depends the other circumstances, all your happiness. And also it's like any kind of the different circumstances, worst circumstances, any samsaric circumstances, it cannot defect to you. And you yourself is kind of the most happiest. And also it's like the says peace mind, comfortable mind. And also it is like kind of very much relevant mind. It works or the corresponding any kind of the circumstances. We say that your mind is the equanimity of the universals. It doesn't matter your mind is be samsara or nirvana. You can say yourself, you say, I am beyond, or I am transcendent, abundance and the freedoms. That means Your mind is like go to the samsara. It doesn't matter your perspective. Samsara is not samsara. Is your mind is to be in nirvana. It doesn't matter you are the best nirvana. Beyond that, there is no existent best nirvana. Therefore, your mind is like kind of very much free from the such kind of balanced or like kind of the turmoils and like kind of situation of the turmoil in the sometimes samsara, nirvana, samsara, this kind of not. And your mind is equal and mind is very much this sort of is you become like this. And then we therefore we are like kind of the purified, our like kind of obstacle, or at the moment we are like kind of the seriously to honestly to look ourselves. We have such a thick of the confusion, ignorant, desire, attachment. There's the like kind of we don't know, we are not serious calculated. Buddha, he calculated our disturbing emotions, like 84,000 different type of the disturbing emotions. But really, obviously, we have such like kind of the jealousy, anger, attachment, all this sort of. Then it's like our mind is very much foggy. I don't know, maybe this is, I'm talking my situation, okay? It's not you, but. And also it's like whatever happened, even the yesterday, is almost forgetting. The past things and the past lives, no need to mention. And we don't know in the future, I don't know, even the 1 minute in the future, what will happen. Absolutely foggy, we can't see nothing. That is obscuration. There's like kind of our mind is not penetrated to see the past and the futures. This is we call the obscuration. And when we are like this, then sometimes, I don't know, but me sometimes has a lot of like anxieties and confusions, and like then it's everything is like a turmoil up, and it's difficult to decide it. And that is like kind of we call the obscurations. If you have more lesser obscuration, easily to control. Maybe even the some is like a great meditators or the great purifiers, purified their own disturbed emotions. They can choose like when they to die, afterwards when they will go, which destinations, which kind of they want to make the rebirth. But when they are like coming back or they don't want to come back, maybe they can to be dissolved on the true natural realities. And of course there's some emanation, but maybe it's also it's like you never ever you can to say it's the ending of your perspective, samsara. And like this sort of we can't do at the moment, that is obscurations. And sometimes we have everything's condition, everything's human body is fantastic, conditions, shelter, food, clothes, anything, nothing lack of some problems. But our mind is very much uncomfortable and like kind of there's problems. And like this is we call the obscurations. What can we do? And also sometimes we made a lot of mistake. Sometimes we do, that is maybe it's good for me. I want to do it. But according to the obscurations, maybe it's very bad for ourselves. Maybe we think, that is not very good. I don't want it. Maybe according to the obscurations, that is the best. Like exactly this sort of confusion, misunderstand, that is our like kind of obscuration, okay? This obscuration is like, in order to purify it, we need to practice Guru Yoga of the Vajrasattva. And also with bodhichitta wisdom. Then it's like sincerely giving rising to bodhichitta, and however well of itself purify all past misdeed. You have text? Okay. And the sincerely giving rise to bodhichitta, and however well of itself purify all past misdeed, whatever they might be. And here is like we are like seriously, purely, honestly to generate giving rising means like kind of concerning the bodhicitta, is attention bodhicitta or application bodhicitta. However, well of itself purifying itself, bodhicitta itself, there is many histories. Like in our book is like a most powerful history is Shantadeva and also Asangas. But anyway, if really there's many Buddhas, you remember on the past, like someone seriously, sincerely, honestly generate bodhicitta, immediately they are like kind of liberated. And like this, therefore says like, well of itself purify all the past misdeed. And misdeed is like mistakenly with something actions. Mistakenly we did something is action, it's an action of the negative action. Maybe we are like kind of think it's good for us, and then we are killing. And this is a mistake, misdeed. And also sometimes stolen, very good. Maybe I want to become the like healthy, I want to become the rich, I want to do, okay, I will stolen it. But actually it is like kind of the, as much as you stole, that much negative, and finally you lose your life and become sometimes a power, die by the hunger or thirsties. Sometimes result like this kind of mistakenly we misdid a lot past. Whatever they might be, maybe yesterday our questions, maybe it's like I don't know how long I myself wandered into the samsara, and maybe it is the countless, like even for example in this life, maybe if you are like 30, 40, 50 years old, maybe you are more than that, but you are young. But during these years, every year you have at least 360 days. And this you calculated, every day, where have you been? Oh, everywhere. It's you cannot to count. Like how it's like maybe you count, but you don't know. Every day you sit, every day you go to different place, you every day is like doing something. There's like you are like begin since born, jump to like 30 or 40 years. It's impossible. You came through this day by day, hour by hour, second by second, you came to in this your age. Then now it's almost just looks like one moment. It's done, like finish it. Like this, maybe since beginning when we wander into the samsara, we don't know how many. Maybe might to be also we done a lot of, and that during these travelings, during this journey, we misdid a lot. And then it's like we need to purify it, confess to like this. Here is the quotation of the bodhichara avatar, the way of the Bodhisattva, Shantadevas. I mean, the way of the Bodhisattva. This is the text, main text, the subject matter. Author's names, the Shantadeva, chapter 1. This, I think, Mashashi wrote it. Verse 13 says, if the bodhicittas. And probably what I sent to you, this file, is Mashashi prepared for me, is like kindly. Maybe there are some added. This is not, is come from the Pemakara translation, but this is very much useful. And where it's come from, which chapter, which verse, that is wonderful. It's like this. And here is like Shantadeva says, like example. And here is more, of course, it is a Vajrasattva, but how it is the bodhicitta, this idea, this like kind of the kindness mind or good-hearted mind is how it is the purified, the obscurations here. As though they passed through peers guided by hero. Even those weighed down with dreadful weakness will instantly be freed through having bodhicitta. Who when would not place its trust in it. There is updated, maybe this one, I think maybe Mashashi, this we can just say, why then those who are conscious would not place the trust in it, bodhicitta. Who then would not place this trust in it? Maybe this is okay. And this is like kind of for example, if you are the extraordinary, you done the misdeed in the past, as though they passed through the peer guide by the hero, even those might down with dreadful weakness. And here is like, how to say, different way. It's line in Tibetan's line by line. If you are did like such misdeed on the past, or even if you done a lot of negative things, and when you are rely on the bodhicitta, one instantaneously, will instantly be freed through the having bodhicittas. And the bodhicittas purified, one is like instantly. That is the, even those white downs. If someone is like go through the narrow, like a path, dreadful weakness, and it's like kind of the such a dangerous path, very difficult to some coward to traveling. But if you rely on the like a kind of the such hero and rely on it, and then it's like one instantly you can through this path. You don't need. If in this case, why you don't rely on the trust in it? This hero is like example of the bodhicitta. And negative deeds, it's like kind of the narrow mind, narrow road, and very dangerous route. This negative is like kind of the created narrow, dangerous route of the samsaras. And once we created by the negative actions this road, then we need to go through that. And of course, it is very complicated. But the hero of the bodhichitta, if we rely on, and then it's like one moment, it can make the liberations. It's like this. Maybe we say it's like, you remember, once Buddha, he's like kind of the born in the like kind of some hells, because he kicked his feet, kicked his mother's head, and according these causalities, he reborn someplace, and like kind of the some very iron wheel is coming in his head, and then it's like all the destroyed his brain and head. At that moment, he's like kind of generate, that is the causality, because I hit my mother's head. Whoever kind of this sort of misdeed result may I take, and he like this, the generate bodhichitta, he immediately liberated from that because of this generation. And also remember the asangas, like there are many kind of different histories. Really, it's like to seriously generate bodhicitta, kindness, is the extraordinary. Therefore, it's like a Vajrasattva practice, a very profound, very excellent in order to purify our obscurations. But to generate bodhicitta is the best, better than the Vajrasattva. And like this, therefore, even you are practice Vajrasattva, but you need to combine with bodhicittas. And then it's like just as by the fires at the end of the time, great saints are the utterly consumed by the bodhicittas. This is also is like in the bodhicitta there's many examples. This is like the end of collapsed our world. They said it's like such big fire is coming. This fires is like the end of the time. The fires to burn all the universal. There's nothing left. Like this, and like one moment, if you serious generate bodhicitta, and then is this great thing are the utterly consumed, or the like make the purified, consumed by the bodhicittas. There's nothing kind of the left. And this sort of in the bodhicitta, like there's many different example. This is like kind of the first, the power of the support, the deity of Vajrasattva, and enhanced by the compassions, and like this. And then is the second is the power of regretting having done the wrongs. And this is like kind of to recognize really we did some misdeed. Really we accept or acknowledge it. Sometimes we not acknowledge what we done. For example, all the times we done some negative things a lot, but we think I didn't do nothing. I'm okay. I'm good. What I did wrong. Even you this kind of done, that kind of done. This is something. It's necessary. This sort of we have like coding the some. It's how to say it, the self like rising or self kind of the protect. And self like kind of the hiding self defects, and we are never like kind of the regret. And here is the very like kind of the important things is regretting, have we done what is wrong. We like purely to reveal that, and nothing kind of hiding. It's very much powerful, and like kind of to immediately to release this kind of. And sometimes we make joke. Someone says like we are like kind of some robbers. They robbed, they thieved. And then is the owner or the some is like rules. They catched, are you thieved, you stolen. Said, I never stolen, I never thieved. Then they beat a little bit. Said, no, what are you saying? I never. But reality thieved. And they said, if you really to acknowledge that, and you say the purely, then you are free. Sometimes then person say, okay, then I did everything, sorry, to say the sorry, forgiveness, everything said, okay, then you are honest, you give back, or you like kind of the to present or something and like compensate, or I don't know, something, you are free. That is like, okay, it's pure. Like this is the kind of stupid example, like this way. And what we done is negative things, there's nothing to hiding. Front of the Vajrasattva or the front of the bodhichitta to say, I'm very sorry, I did some done harmful things to the sentient beings. Therefore, I have such obscurations. And this is like very powerful, that like this. The power of the regretting having done wrong comes from a feeling of the remorse for all the negative actions you have done in the past. And like kind of the feelings, it is like a remorse, maybe in the like kind of the different on the past, and maybe different varieties of the we done the negative actions, like 10 negative actions, different in the different life, different situations, and also different like we done some negative things. And all this, whatever we done on the past, some negative, the misdeed. Now we like kind of the purely, utterly to say to the Vajrasattva, and in front of the Vajrasattva, I want to say it's like really confess. And also it's like this regretting or the confessions word is very important to really deeply, or it's like honestly. There can be no purification of you do not say your misdeed as something wrong and confess them with fierce regret without concealing anything. And it's like when we are purified this, here is like whatever we did misdeed, something like wrong or confess it, or something wrong, already like kind of natural negative actions, or and like a kind of the violation of the Buddha's ethic, any kind of the negative actions, what we done, and this one is we need to confess, to really feel like through the fear regret. And I want to say is the confess my wrong doing things. And that is the most kind of the important, and without concealing anything, and without it's like kind of the regret or concealing, and then it's like it's difficult to purify it. Yeah, I done. Okay, I need to confess. Okay, I some did killed or some negative deed I did. But it's okay. In the just mouthly, I am sorry. It doesn't work. And really to deeply in the sincerely, it's kind of the fear regret. I did harmful things. Really, it's like shame. I'm really embarrassed, and I want to confess it. There's sometimes Bodhisattvas is like this. Maybe they are not afraid, like kind of the quoting the negative actions. They may reborn in the lower realms. Maybe they don't care. If I reborn in the lower realms, it doesn't matter. But it's a matter of the I harmed or something did negative for the sentient beings. For example, if you say you done some misdeed, bad things for your parents, maybe for your children, maybe for your friend, maybe you cheated, maybe you like kind of manipulated, maybe you like kind of the parents beat to children, maybe children's like kind of deceived parents, and also it's like a kind of did bad for the parents. Then you have what I did. It's like kind of maybe you don't need to think about the consequence, but for that perspective, it's like, oh, I did very bad things to my parents. Now I understand the kindness of my parents, but I did some ugly things. And make a joke. There is one guy. He said this. And when he's young, he didn't listen to parents, and he's doing such criminal things. Then parents all the time is crying and worried, and sometimes he's like a alcoholic falling in the street, and then the parents like searching and collect to him. Sometimes he take a lot of drug, and then they collect it and bring it at home. Sometimes he did criminals. Parents go to in the police and jail and take out. Now all the parents' life is like make suffering by this guy. And then certainly both parents died. Then he's become alone. Nobody's take care. And then it's like he do any kind of negative, and then his life was worse. Who can to take care? And then he asked someone's help, nobody's. And then he understood the kindness of the parents. And then his whole life is crying, what I did bad to my parents. Like this, sometimes also parents doing the children's, according to their negative emotions. Maybe they done very ugly things. And then it's later, they have such regret. It's my child, but I did this and that. Maybe parents not thinking about the consequences, but shame, embarrassed. Like this. Maybe you are like kind of the not caring about the consequence. But it's like a kind of your humanity perspective. And you think that others like situations. Whatever we done uncomfortable, negative, misdid to others, others suffered. That is like a shame, embarrassed, really like kind of the fear. It's like the regret, what I did, very sorry, like this kind of. And therefore, if true like this, then if we are confess, absolutely, this is like the extraordinary power of like regretting have we done wrong. And also there's a quotation. They recite the sutta in the 3 parts. This is the new translation. We use the sutta of the 3 hips. We are reciting before the 3rd practice. That's one. Inside is like, I confess them all without hiding or the holding back anything. And it's like kind of, I don't want to hiding, I don't want to holding. It's like really fear, regret. Absolutely from deep of my heart, I confess to say what I done some negative things to the other sentient beings. That is the very much important. If this kind of feeling, this kind of thoughts can purify all the obscurations result by the negative actions. And like this ways, the learned and the accomplished Karma Chame Rinpoche, he is the prey of the Dzogchen Malams inside. How do you call that in Sanskrit? Is a Dzogchen Malam? Forgot it. Okay, doesn't matter. Dzogchen Malam. It says that confessing them without regret cannot purify them. For past misdeed are like a poison within. So confess them with shame, trepidation, and great remorse. And here is the confess them with shame. And also it's like a trepidation. It's like terrifying. And great remorse is the extremely to confess. And like this is not, I think it's like 100% past misdeed we can to purify it. All is everything. And through this, then we have the power of the regretting in the past wrong. Maybe according to the internet, we are missing coffee. Okay, stop. $15 minutes la. Okay la.